Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, David Murphy from the National Black Unity News. And I want to welcome my partners, Mr. Satari Jahi, who's co-host on the show, as well as Mr. Onri Hector,
Good evening.
who's on the show as well. And we have two special guests. My partner, Mr. Bill Gooden, is with us online right now. And we're expecting quite a few other guests to come on this evening. And also, not last and not least, is Miss Fran Allen, who also is the editor in the publication. She has a long resume, so I'm not going to get into all of that. She's an author, motivational speaker, down to earth, keeping it real. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to discover this evening because, as we all know, there's some serious stuff going on in this country and around the world. People are dying at an alarming rate. And I just want to share with something. I just seen this on the news. They say here in Maryland, we have confirmed, it's almost 1,800. And it's almost 25 deaths. And in the country, we have pretty much 180,000 people confirmed with this virus. And close to over 3,000 people had died. And worldwide, it's 770, almost close to 800,000 people have been confirmed with this, and over 37,000, almost 37,600 has perished. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of folks. And a lot of things people say from time to time, well, this may not happen to me or happen to you, but you better take heed to what's taking place. Even today, in another half hour here, I'm in the Baltimore area. The governor of the state of Maryland has put out a law, a martial law, whatever you want to call it, that as of 8 o'clock, executive order. It's saying that, after 8 p.m., we under this order, and we can only supposed to go out for essential things. And so with that being said, so ladies and gentlemen, before we get heavy into this conversation, because it's a conversation worth talking about, and it's a conversation to be concerned about. But most important, first things first, speaking about first thing, I want to introduce to my partner, Mr. Satari Jahi, who has some information that he always shares at the opening of our podcast. Mr. Jahi, to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, David Murphy. And thank you to all the people out there in our listening audience. Today is March the 30th, and every time we open up this program, we do readings from Daily Motivations for African American Success, written by Mr. Dennis Kimbrough, who also wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. And we're going to get into the reading for today. The thrill of victory. Quote, today's global marketplace demands highly skilled, effective managers, unquote. Earl Graves, founder of Black Enterprise Magazine. Reading for today. Some people fear competition. The danger of defeat paralyzes them. But head coach Clarence Big House Gaines of Winston-Salem State College basketball team knows how to prepare his players. In a career that has spanned 47 years, Coach Gaines has won more than 800 games, second only to Hall of Famer Adolph Ruff of Kentucky. There are only 4 keys to winning, Coach Gaines contends. Plan purposely, prepare prayerfully, proceed positively, and pursue persistently. The price for success in any field requires preparation. But preparation is worthless without effectiveness. Effectiveness means not only getting the job done, but getting it done right. For example, the winner of a 2-hour marathon only needs to be a few seconds ahead of all of the other runners to win. In business, sales leaders often make only 5 more phone calls per day than the average, or read 5 more journals per month, or get 5 more good ideas per year. These men and women are highly effective. They not only get the job done, they get it done effectively and right. Through preparation and enhanced effectiveness, you will be certain to to experience the thrill of victory. Today I will use my preparation to increase my effectiveness. That is our reading for the day, and it ties in to if we want to be able to defeat this coronavirus, and there's some things we have to do as far as preparing ourselves, making sure that we wash our hands as often as possible, using hand sanitizer, maintaining the social distance spacing, and then just be mindful of your surroundings and your whereabouts and where you at and what you're doing and who you come in contact with. And these are some things that we can do to be able to help us to prepare to have the victory over this coronavirus. Because if we don't properly prepare, or at least say in the military, the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. And that's something that has stuck with me from being in the military. How do you properly prepare so that you do not have, in this case, if you have a piss poor performance, that could end up meaning your death. So, we want to make sure that we are securing ourselves against the possibility of death, because death is lurking at the door, and it's out here, and it's consuming people, and there are people that are dying every day. Every day there are people that are dying. So with that said, Mr. Murphy, back to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. As always insightful, enlightening the information that you share with us, Brother Satabi. Brother Hector.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, Brother Hector was unable to be with us last week because he was having some other challenges that he had to deal with. But just give you an update. We had this discussion. This is going on our 3rd week talking about this virus, and we had a lot of powerful conversations about this situation. But I just wanted to know, because like I said, we got kind of spirited last week, and I just wanted to ask you a question from your perspective. How do you view what's going on with this coronavirus, and your idea maybe, or if you have any suggestions of where this thing may have come from?
Okay, my view about it is, and how I'm interpreting this whole situation. Everybody, once again, this is Mr. Onri Hector, radio personality and motivational speaker from the Onri Hector Show. Everybody's listening live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Welcome. We're dealing with an unprecedented situation right now. Mr. Murphy, once again, thank you for all the things that you have done and making the effort to empower us through information, the National Black Unity News. And the question was asked to me, how do I view this whole thing, and where did it come from? How do I view it? It's changing my life, and not only my life, but when I look around and I see other lives are being affected as well, negatively. Uh, some people have lost their jobs over this. There are a lot of people who have lost their jobs. Um, it's making it hard to take care of personal things. Even myself, it has affected me. I have 2 daughters. I gotta think about. I got other people who I want to think about. But my daughter, she has respiratory issues, upper respiratory issues. She has asthma. So I'm thinking about that. I'm looking at that. Um, the way I'm looking at this whole thing, especially when I go to work, I'm an essential employee. I work for the Maryland Transit Administration. And being at certain stations, because I work on the metro side, I see people come in and out. I was there when the order was that transportation needed to be used for essential business, essential employees. And essential is anything that is important, like going to the grocery store if you're an employee there. Transit needs to be open so these essential personnel can get to their jobs and to perform their jobs to service the people. Rest, We have the market that needs to be open, mechanics, so things can get fixed. Um, Other things that are essential, hospitals. People need to get to the hospital, but a lot of percentage of the people who are coming through the subway system, and I can't like beam a special gadget and could tell them, but we don't know. A lot of them are not essential. So they're not taking this situation seriously from what I see. There are times where I have walked the transit system, go outside above ground, especially Penn North area, Upton area, and there are people who are engaging in their everyday normal life like nothing's going on. Um, they're not practicing social distancing. They're still performing what they do. I'm not gonna bring out what they do. I mean, we all know for those, but it's something that people need to take seriously, and because of that, the governor has issued uh, orders, stay-at-home orders. We all know about that. Over the weekend, Governor Hogan uh, has called a critical turning point because of this coronavirus 19 outbreak. People are not taking it seriously. Because of it, Maryland is one of the growing numbers of the state ordering residents to stay at home because there is no calming down of the situation. It's been spiking. The latest order has taken effect today, as Mr. Murphy had said. According to the governor, 8 p.m. All Marylanders will be able to only leave their home for essential work or essential purposes such as buying food, picking up prescriptions, seeking medical care. Hogan said that Marylanders will receive a wireless emergency alert, which I'm pretty sure everybody has gotten.
Yeah, I
I
got
know
it
I got
already.
mine. You know, Similar orders are going to be in place. Issues like Virginia, the governor, they have ordered certain things to be taking place. Washington D.C. So over the weekend, Maryland tripled its numbers of death and discovered outbreaks at the Pleasant View nursing home in the Mount area. So we don't see anything happening. Mr. Murphy said it as good as I can say it. I mean, even maybe better. As the Monday morning, the state had recorded 1,413 confirmed cases of the COVID-19, and then people are sitting back like, "What's going on? Where did it come from?" There's a lot of conspiracy theory out there, but I'm just going to stick to the facts. Say it came from China. I think it's Wuhan, right?
That's what they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So COVID means a strand from an animal. Okay. So we have had different strands in the past in the early 2000s. Okay. So this particular strand, they say that it came from an animal. That's what COVID means. From animal to animal, and somehow it transformed or transferred itself to a human. However, it did, and then it causes the spread. Certain symptoms that you'll get. Everybody's been talked about the symptoms. Well, how do you know? Fever, high fever, dry cough, itching of the throat, stuff of that matter. So when you have those issues, they say you go to your doctor so you can receive some care and a proper diagnosis. So this has definitely changed all of our life. The economy has gone down. And because of what's going on, President Trump has ordered even further ordinance to try to combat the COVID-19 outbreak. And that's what President Trump is defends extending the virus guidelines as spread continues. So, what do we do? How do we protect ourselves? Again, uh, practicing those guidelines from the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, maintaining that space, continuing to exercise proper hygiene, right? So these are the factors. Also protecting yourself, PPE, personal protection equipment. And you know, but people like to say, well, you know, my life has changed. Yes, it has changed. We understand that clearly. So, how do we view this? We can look at this thing as a good thing or a negative thing. Okay. Uh, I believe that we can take this opportunity because I remember, and I don't know about you guys, David Murphy, Satawi, and the rest of you guys, but I remember a time when I was young and I used to sit at the table and I used to eat dinner with my family. For the past couple of years, it's been hectic. It's been busy. We've been going out our daily life. I don't know about you, but maybe you can have a testimony to that. Uh, we've been busy. When was the last time you actually had a moment with your family? You know, that's something to think about, David Murphy.
Okay. Let me say this.
Yeah, let me say something too.
Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Bill Good.
No, first and foremost, man, I just want to thank everybody from being on here. And from my own personal perspective, first of all, man, let's just, thank God that we're alive and ask God to protect us. You
Absolutely.
know, I think that we have to use our common sense that God gave us in terms of, trying to follow all the guidelines and everything. You
Yep.
know, there's a lot of theories out there in terms of where it came from and everything else. Personally for myself, then at this here point is that that's not the issue. The point at this particular point is that we have to do everything to save ourselves, to save our families, and to save our communities. You know, so in terms of Trump, I heard Hector. I just can't call that man. I can't call him the P word, man. So I just call him Trump. You know, I mean, he done sent all kind of mixed messages,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that we had a real president in terms of leadership. Then I'm not saying it wouldn't be as bad as it was, but I think another president would coordinate it with the governors around the state and had a federal mandate that they all would have complied with, which may have helped us better. So I think Trump and his ego, man, has really put lots of us into a harm's way. That's my personal thing. But but like I say again, man, we just have to pray for each other. And I ask everybody, don't take this thing lightly, man, because this is serious. I mean, this is something that none of us have ever seen in our lifetime. The last time something like this happened was in 1918, and none of us was around in 1918. So we have to take it serious, man, and do everything that we can to protect ourselves and don't be foolish. So, I mean, that's my take because like I told you before, David, you know, even once this over, and Hector did mention, once this over, man, you're going to have lots of unemployed people out there, homeless people, and hungry people. You know what I'm saying? So we
That's
need
right.
to try to survive so we can be on the other end so we can help our people once this is over. Because there's nothing that we can do about this, but we can save ourselves and we can help people once this epidemic is over.
All right. Let me say this. Where I sit, because I'm in the media, and of course I keep my eyes and ears open. And even though because I've been in the media so long, people just volunteer information to me, and hopefully because I have means of getting information out to the masses, and they most of them would like for me to print or share the information that they're sharing with me. Now I done heard everything from like Russia started so they can get back at China and the United States. Then I heard China was doing this and this that. Then I heard talk about this G5 thing, the New
Exactly.
World Order, and then the
The
entrails, they're
Newman
flying across the
Illuminati.
skies. Everything, new everything is taking place, and it could be a little bit of all of them. To be honest with you, it could be.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, but for something like I say, something from something leads this old saying, but let me just put it this way. No matter how it got started, like Bill just mentioned, it's already started. And as a result of this, the whole world almost is in shutdown mode. The whole world pretty soon going to be in survival mode. And I tell people all the time, the National Black Unity News is this. Now, I'm concerned about all mankind, but I'm mostly concerned about my kind. And you know, when in the history of the United States, when the mainstream get pinched, black people get punched, and and we have seen this throughout history with Wall Street, Rosemount, Rosewood, and everything else. That when times got tough, and they seen that we had something, they coming to get it. And there's been a run on guns. There's been all kinds of things. People are stockpiling. People have been preparing for this. You have all types of militias out there already been in place because they've been forewarned of things like this, forthcoming. But again, my greatest concern is about us, we as a people. And with that being said, I want to bring one of our guests on just to get her take on this because, like I say, a lot of things are going to happen in this country, but I'm going to tell you, the United States is going to take a big blow, but I can almost guarantee you this. Black people are going to take even a greater blow. And so how do we deal with this? Well, I don't care where it came from. We have to react to it. And so with Miss Fran Allen, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Fran, you're a very knowledgeable person. You wrote several books, and you go around, you speak to people, you motivate people, and you have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. And so in this day and time, especially about motivation right now, because a lot of people are shut in, shut down, don't know how they're going to make it through tomorrow. And for the first time, a lot of people, like Brother Hector say, they have an opportunity now to stop, to think, contemplate how I'm going to get through the day, how I'm going to get through tomorrow, how I'm going to plan for my job, how I don't have a job, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. And so from your point of view, Fran, what would you say to people right now who's going through, contemplating all these different thoughts and changes that they may have to face?
Well, Dave, first of all, thank you for the opportunity, for the chance to share a word or two through this medium is very important. There are so many things that go through, a person's mind every day. Just when they're faced with the regular, normal, or average challenges that life brings without this kind of virus, situation happening. But I would say that the one thing that people don't really give credit to or give themselves credit for is their own knowledge. See, we all know stuff. We all know all kinds of stuff, but we minimize the value of what we know because it's us. And we just think, well, who would listen to me? Who's going to want to hear what I have to say? But if you think about it, when you have a challenge and you need to talk to somebody, you call somebody else and you listen to what they have to say, and you give value and worth and credence to what they tell you because you trust them and you believe in them. So I would challenge everyone to consider that while you're calling everyone else, you might as well call upon yourself because you are the someone else for everybody else. Think about that. Think about all those people that call you and ask you stuff. You don't think a thing of it, telling them whatever. So for those people who are trying to figure out how they're going to make some money during this period of time, it's really simple. You know something that somebody needs. You know how to do something that somebody needs. You know how to meet a need that somebody else has that they will pay you for.
That's right.
You have to stop thinking about how somebody else can put money in your hand and how you can use your brain to put money in your own hand, because that is the shortest distance between somebody's pocket and your account.
Interesting.
So let me break it down into a couple of examples. We have all this social distancing, so you can't be around more than 10 people at a time. So But if you braid hair, you can only braid one head at a time. So
That's true.
you're not not honoring the social distancing requirement. And if you know that it's going to take you 6 hours to braid somebody's hair, you only have to do 2 people a day anyway.
That's true.
And you make it, and you're making that money. And if you don't have anywhere to go, you can't go outside no kind of way anyway, then how come then people ain't coming to your house, get their hair braided, and go home? You got hand sanitizer, hit them at the door, wipe your hands with this, and have
That's
a
right.
seat.
Put that mask on.
So,
You hear me?
yes, put the mask on and take that paper right in your living room while you watching
That's it.
the Days of Our Lives or whatever it is that you get
Don't
off
forget all my
on.
children.
Okay, that one. So I'm just saying. Or if you're not handy with that kind of thing, then what about all these children that are at home who are not getting the educational instruction that they need? And
That's true.
you know how to read. Why can't you set up telephone tutoring? You're on your phone anyway. You're running your mouth all day anyway. You ain't talking about nothing. And you can't send nobody an invoice.
Woo!
So, call somebody's 10-year-old child that you know is having a problem reading. Ask their parents to get them this book. Look, they're either going to pay by getting their children the help that they need now, or they're going to pay later when these kids fail all these classes because they didn't have any instruction, they didn't understand anything, they were too cool to ask anybody any questions, and now they don't have nothing to do but fail.
That's true.
So why can't we get ahead of that? Why can't we be the ones that take that bull by the horns and flip the script? You get the kids, they got the book. You got the book, they reading. You're reading right along with them. If they mess up on a word, you stop them. You say, sound it out. Didn't we do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I learned to read. Sound it out. It didn't tell me anything. You know what the letter P sounds like puff, puff, puff. Sound it out. And I did. And I read. And I kept reading, and now I write stuff for other people to read. I mean, there wasn't rocket science. I didn't do anything extraordinary. I just did what I knew how to do. That's all. The difference, though, is when I did what I knew how to do, I flipped it into some dollars, and
There
I
you
get
go.
paid. Wow, what a concept.
All right. Fran.
I'm
Go ahead, Fran.
Well, I'm just saying, I made some smart decisions about some career moves because it wasn't about a job for me. I didn't want to have just a job. I wanted to have a retirement.
Mm.
So I got the job that would give me the mailbox check that I wanted. It wasn't about being in the moment. It was about creating my future. Not by default, but by design.
Okay, that's interesting. That's true.
Oh yeah, and
That's
and
true.
so now where I am in my life. Everybody else, we got 4 million people, 3.3 million people who have lost their jobs or are on unemployment, and my heart goes out to every single one of them. But you know what? I don't have to be in that line. I don't have to be in that line because I went and I did some things and I stuck it out. And it was not easy, and I did not have a lot of fun. And, it wasn't a lot of things I had to do, a lot of things that I did not want to do. I didn't understand the reasoning. I didn't like the process. I didn't agree with the decisions. But at the end of the day, I didn't have to do any of that. All I had to do was do the job. My opinion about why, what, when, how, and all the other stuff was completely immaterial.
That's true.
My goal was to get that check. And my goal was to stick around long enough so that I wouldn't have to come to the office to get the check anymore, because now they would have to pay me for the rest of my life. That was my goal. I have achieved it. So you can't really talk about some stuff when you ain't really done the stuff. I done did the stuff, y'all.
That's right. You definitely did. You know what, Fran? You hit on something very important. I'm gonna bring our next guest up in a few minutes, but like I say, while a lot of us are sitting at home or mandated to stay home, you need to take this time. You need to take a little time out and contemplate where you are, where you
Right.
want to be, how you're going to get there. And like I say,
Right.
God, one thing about God, I do know this, that in every man or woman, God put a measure of gifts into each and every one of us.
That
And
is
God also
absolutely
said at
true.
the same time, say your gift will make a way for you.
That's right.
And
Your
if you
gift will
took,
make
Right.
room.
I don't, if you're a singer, if you a sports person, if you this and this that, you have to nurture those gifts. And once you nurture them, build upon them, like I said, it will make a way for you. And for such a
Right.
time as this, like I said, there's a lot of
Right.
people, even though a lot of people are losing their jobs, but guess what? Certain industries out there
Right.
making a fortune off of this,
Yep.
off of
Yep.
crisis. And, and,
Yep.
and then and then you got a lot of people right now. If you don't know what to do, how to do it, sometimes you need to just help somebody. Don't only think
Right.
about you all the time, because, like I say,
Yep.
there's all kind of creative ways. We got people all around us who can utilize your service. Our children, our elderly,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
certain other things that you could do to be a blessing to somebody else. And like they say, when you give, most times out there, the way laws work, karma work, when you give, you will receive. And not that
Right.
you're supposed to do it because you want to receive, but you give out of the goodness of your heart. But with that
Right.
being said, like the National Black Unity News, it's a solution-oriented publication, and we put information in there that's going to enhance people's quality of life. And I'm gonna bring this
Mhm.
gentleman on, for such a time as this, when people are running around and everything's in short of supplies like the gloves, the sanitizers, water, toilet paper, and all this other stuff. People are scrambling for this. Some people hoarding. Some people just, doing all kinds of things. But
Mhm.
I don't know. This puts me in the mind of that TV show called Shark Tank. And there
Yes.
was a lot of entrepreneurs would come before this staff of people, and they had all these great and wonderful ideas. But these sometimes, because the way this capitalist system is set up, you need great deals of money, and you got to go through all certain laws and legislation to get things done sometimes. And but I used to watch that show, and the people come up with some fantastic ideas, but they didn't have the
Mhm.
funding to make it come to fruition. But they're gonna go on with it. If it's in your heart, you're gonna do it anyway, with or without the capital. But
That is true.
this gentleman I want to introduce to you next, a gentleman by the name of Robert Cotton. Robert Cotton, are you still online with us?
Yes, can you see me?
I
Can you
don't
hear me?
see you, but you need to turn your camera on. It's a little thing down there. You click the camera button, and you will appear, sir.
And he's got to fix his audio.
Yes. But while he tried to get that together, uh, it's at the bottom of your screen. There you go. I can see you now, sir. Yeah, but Mr. Robert Cotton, he and I go a long way back. And he's always been one of them enthusiasts, into health. And the first time I met him, he came with this machine that purifies the air. And Robert always one of those type. He's like me in a sense of a way. I'm always ahead of my own time. And visionary that they call us. And he's always been pretty strong in the health thing, especially nanotechnology. The latest and the newest. And he brought this machine around my house, and he plugged it in. And the first thing I noticed, it made the inside of my house smell like the outside, like you was on a mountaintop somewhere. It was just fresh. Your clothes smell fresh. I don't care what kind of stuff you brought into your house, brought on you. You put it in around that machine in a few hours or stuff. After this is fresh as this, you had washed it or something like that. And we had did all types of tests with this thing, and it worked. And then right now, as today, I'm sitting under two light bulbs that this gentleman introduced me to. And I don't know about these bugs, but all I can tell you is about results. And this nanotechnology is supposed to purify the air and take this stuff out the air. He can explain more of that than I can. But I do know one thing. Like I told you in the beginning of the show, I have a lot of grandchildren. They hug and kiss on me, and I hug and kiss on them as well. And they from the ages of 5 to 14. And so, they ran all kinds of stuff, but
I
I
would be
stayed.
hugging and kissing right now.
Nah, I just said they not coming in now, but I'm just saying, but I had these light bulbs for over a year and a half now, pretty much. And before this thing even came about. But I did notice one thing. I never caught colds and that, because this I consider my room is like my man cave. My office is a lot of things into one. I spend a lot of time in this little area here. A lot of time. I think 90% of my time is in this little area. And so, I think this thing has a lot of things. But Robert Cotton, like I say, he's a innovator, and he's always on top of a lot of new technology that most people not even aware of. Mr. Cotton.
Yes.
I think you may have faded out again. I'm not sure. Yeah, there you go. And Mr. Robert Cotton, in this time, like I say, especially this time, he has some important information because, like I say, we're solution oriented, and I think this brother got a powerful solution to a lot of things that we are dealing with right now. Mr. Robert Cotton, you got the floor, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to come on your call. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, but he needs to speak into his device a little closer. He sounds muffled.
Well, turn your microphone up a little. I mean, the sound system up a little.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, though.
I can.
Well, first off, thank you, Dave. And I know you, Bill, and so forth, and some of the other people probably seen you out and about. And you out there helping the people. Well, what happened is I'm an instrumentation technician by trade. My wife is a nurse by trade. But over the years, I've looked for products that could improve the life of my family health-wise with technology. So with that, I have a company called Solutions for You. I worked for the Baltimore City Water Department for 31 years. And like Dave said, I look for things to make my house better as far as the indoor air, water, and things of that nature. About 23 years ago, I came across a company that had this here purification machine. At that time, most places had something called air cleaners. But I came across this machine that could do your whole house, and it had no filter. It uses ionization and something called ozone. If you look up ozone, that's something nature produces outside to clean the air. Unfortunately, we've been told by the government and institutions that ozone is bad for us in the summertime. Well, it's not the ozone. They can't measure ozone. They can't measure the particles in the air when it's hot outside, but they can measure the ozone. And what happened is, because we've got air dirty, nature increases the ozone level to clean the crap out that's in the air. So they tell us that at a certain level, the ozone is bad for it, but naturally, if you go to a mountain or to the beach, it's just fresh because there's no pollution, so the ozone has did its job. So over the 23 years, this company at first started out called Alpine, and then it became EcoQuest, and then it's called Valera. All of you can see this little thing around my neck here. Can you see this little thing?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
So this little thing right here, what happened about a month ago, my daughter is in New York City, and my wife she called my wife and said, I need to get some masks for the things that's going on. So I found some for it. I found out that this company has this little personal air purifier that purifies the air before you breathe it. It causes particles to return from your breathing space and give you fresh air. They also have a machine, and if I can show you real quick, there's a little machine right here. You can see it, hopefully.
No, you got to take your camera screen and push it down or something. Yeah, I see it, yeah.
This machine, they call it fresh air purity. This machine can purify up to 1,500 square feet in your home. And it's no filter. It actually uses ionization, ozone, clean particles and stuff out the air. And to make it real short, we have our products in 26 different baseball stadium locker rooms. We have our products in hospitals. When they did the 9/11 museum in New York, they put our air products in the 9/11 museum. They have our products in the Liberty Bell Museum up in Philadelphia. And it's just a matter of it works. What happened is our company took space and lab technology and brought it back down to earth to allow it to be used to help people down here. So basically, we have documentation. We can't say it kills the corona-19 virus, but we do have documentation that it deals with SARS, it deals with MRSA, bacteria, and germs and things of that nature. So my goal is just to bring this technology to our community so that we can help each other a little bit healthier.
Okay, you know, Robert, you know, like I say, this is not a drill, as far as I'm concerned. This is actually warfare, germ-fare, whatever you want to call it. People are dying.
That's
And
right.
and you got a machine there or some devices there because they say wipe down this, do this, wash your hands on a consistent basis. And these viruses can live on clothing and countertops and all kinds of stuff, for certain periods of time. But and so are you telling the listening audience that what you have here is something that can help purify those areas that I've just spoke about?
Yes, sir. I mean, normally, back when I started this, the terminology was air cleaners. But I found out from research that you had about 4 or 5 of them to do your whole house. So you can't have bad air in one room and good air in another room. So this machine electronically goes out and takes contaminants out of the air, and then it destroys it. So it's a whole different concept. But think about it. And Dave, I gave you a website to go to, and it showed a lady that was an astronaut who talked about how this technology is used in the space lab. So the company just taken this technology and brought it back down to Earth so that we can clean our environment and have fresher air, which will make a healthier person, a healthier body. And yes, we can kill bacteria, germs, and stuff on surfaces. We can take smoke out of the air and so forth.
And also, I saw the video. I watched it today because I'm a researcher. I like to do research. And this product that you mentioned, it won an award with NASA or something. Tell a little bit about that.
Well, like I said, they use this technology in the space lab, and this company brought that back and used it for here on Earth. And so what happens is when a company does that, they can go into the Space Foundation Hall of Fame. This company was bought by a company called Electrolux. They are the Space Hall of Fame for bringing that Electrolux back and taking the technology back to Earth. And in 2017, this company technology was voted into the Space Foundation Hall of Fame.
Okay, but look, we get ready to get running short on time now. Can you do us a favor? Can you give us, if you want to, how people can contact you?
Well, 2 things. Before people contact me, I want everybody to go to a site called ActivePure, ActivePure.com.
Say that again.
ActivePure.com. ActivePure.com. You go to that site, look at the videos like you did, Dave. And then my contact number is 443-469-0047.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, with that being said, like I said, we know there's a problem going on in this country.
That's right.
We know there's a greater problem that's going to be happening to us as a people, black people, melanated people. And what I would like to do at this time, and I want everybody who's listening to be mindful. If you got background noises and we all can't talk at once. But I'm gonna open up the line, so if anybody would like to share any information, we're gonna try to get to as many people as we possibly can. If you have a solution or a concern and you just want to bring it to the forefront, this is the time to do so. Anybody want to share something?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to let the viewers know that I have the latest updates. I'm just gonna kind of like post it because I'm live on Facebook. So I have the numbers of case by county. I just want to throw it up there on the site right now so people can check out the numbers case by case. And once again, just to let everybody know that is listening, the governor has issued a stay-at-home order at officially now. It's been in effect 17 minutes now. That means if you're caught outside, all right, and if it's not essential business or you're a essential employee, there is possibility of jail time, a fine up to $5,000, and so this is serious. And right now, I'm getting ready to post this information up, so just want to keep that in mind. Back to you, David.
All right. Anybody else would like to share or make a comment? Yes.
Hi. Hey,
Yes.
Cynthia, how you doing?
How you doing, Sister Cynthia? How you
First
feel?
of all, I want to thank. Great. I want to thank everybody. We got gentlemen who made the point about spending time with family and friends. If you can't do it live, do it virtual. You can do the Zoom. They can do Facebook Live, and also the one with Fran. When Fran said, going back into the skills that we had, and one of the things I was doing today was working on Fran, the tutoring piece. Okay, I love the children. and so that's a piece that I'm going to do to earn income during this time. It was something I was going to do anyway, but this speeded up the process. And just real quick, I have a real quick story I want to share with people about the seriousness of this. This is very personal, but I'm going to make it quick as I can. My mother experienced having tuberculosis as a young woman, okay, right after getting married to my father. This would be 30-something, 1940-something, okay? Now, let me tell you what happened. I just so happened to have told someone that, my mom had this experience, and she did not tell us that this happened to her until I was had my first child, because it was a stigma. If any of y'all know about tuberculosis, there was a stigma attached to that, okay? Anybody know about that?
Yeah.
So anyway, she wanted us to know, because if we had children, she wanted to make sure, everybody was okay. As a child, my brother had 4 brothers and sisters. We were taken to the clinic every year, 2 or 3 times a year, to make sure we were okay. But this is something I found out when sharing with another lady who used to be part of my dance group. She said that there was another family in the area of Terry Street, or wherever this was, that had contracted tuberculosis. And they didn't do what my mother did. My mother was able to go out to, I believe, Frederick, Maryland, where they had a quarantine, okay?
Right.
And she had to do this for about 7 years. Her and my dad were just gotten married. She had to do it for 7 years. The only time he could see her was to travel out to Frederick, Maryland. But another family did not go, and they lost 11 of their children. So I'm saying, in my mother's lifetime, and my mother's lifetime, and probably your mother's probably the same age as my mother, they had this in the United States of America. I don't know about the other countries. And people lost their lives. But those people who did, like you all are saying, in her case, she had to be quarantined. She had to be taken out of the community and quarantined. She was a young adult, so she didn't need any permission. But unfortunately, this household of children, they needed their parents' consent, and their parents did not give them consent. And the entire family of children perished. So we need to take this serious, and do what they tell us to do. And on the same token, in the meantime, do what Fran suggested. Fran, you could do a whole class on that. Really, all of us have gifts and talents. Let's make it happen, because the babies are out of school. And guess what, y'all? I'm a substitute teacher. When they're in school, they need some help, for somebody to help them learn. So now, they definitely need our help. Back to you, everybody, and thank you. God bless. Stay safe.
Thank you, sister. My grandfather had tuberculosis. I know they took him. He had to go away for a while. And then even when he came home, he visited one time. They had to separate everything, what spoon he had and everything. They had to isolate him. Whatever, everything he touched, they had to, make sure that we didn't get a hold of none of that. And so, even back then, when these things run rampant upon us, you got to do some type of precautions to stop that flow. Because, like I say, once them germs, they can say, if you ever watched a sneeze in slow motion, how many particles?
Right.
It's like a nuclear bomb going off. Oh, I mean, them particles
Yep,
go
it's billions.
5 or 6 feet out and spread so wide just from a sneeze, and then it gets on surfaces, doorknobs, any
Hmm.
place I mean, all kinds of stuff. And so people,
Right.
like I said, you have to be precaution, but some things, the most important thing I can suggest to people, you just better pray and use common sense and do take precaution because anytime countries are shutting down, cities are shutting down, major businesses are shutting down. One thing I know about our society here in the United States, they do not play with their money. They will kill you. They will start war over money. And anytime
Hmm.
when you see a signs and wonders where they shutting things down like this, and major corporations, this is more serious than they letting on. And so, so like I say, the life you say may just be your own, maybe your family. You may think you can get away with something, but you can be a carrier, and like Cynthia said, you can wipe out your whole family. And so, please, ladies and gentlemen, take precaution. But like I say, but prepare yourself. Think about
Well,
these things. Go ahead, Brother Bill, because I know me and you were talking about that earlier today.
I mean, everybody on here know, man. I mean, you can't take this. You can't take this no more serious than you can take it because it's real. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you have to use your common sense and don't be stupid. Because I know my barber called me yesterday and said, "Hey, Bill, you want to come down?" He's kind of just cutting hair on the side and not really opening up. But then I thought about it, man. I said, I'm not going to the barber shop. I don't care if I'm by myself or not at this particular time. Because I don't know how many other hairs he cutting. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to take all the precautions that we can and use our common sense. Now, it's one thing Fran said I agree with in terms that, if you can educate people, you can teach people over social media, then you do what you can, you help people you can. But we have to be
Right.
careful in terms of who we come in contact with because you don't know who they in contact with. So, we have to be wise about this thing. And then last I'm going to say, because I said to you earlier today, Dave, those of us that's fortunate enough, pay your bills. Because I don't care what they say. Once this thing over, it's going to be a whole bunch of people, man, 3 or 4 months behind their mortgages and then their rent.
Hmm.
And then they're going to have problems that they didn't think they was going to have. They're going to tell me, I thought that we didn't have to pay our rents. It ain't going to be like that, man. So pay your
Right.
BG bill if you can. Pay all your bills that you can. Do not trust these people thinking that you're going to get no free ride or nothing.
Yeah, and on
Right.
top of that, now, like I say, Brother Hector, like we always say, let's keep it real. And
Oh, you
I
sure you
love.
want me to keep that real? You
Well,
sure
I'm
about
ready to
that?
make it
Hey.
real. Well,
Hey, I tell
my
you,
people.
check this out.
Let me finish this. I love my people so much, man. But we got this thing about when we get a little cash flow. They got this stimulus money coming, and they add a little extra money onto this, a little extra money onto those who laid off, and it's a little bit more money than they used to accustomed to getting. And we had this
Hmm.
thing about flair, blinging, and a lot of other stuff. Instant gratification.
That's
And
right.
sometimes when we
Hmm.
get that little extra flow, we want to run out and buy this and buy that, and then I'll take care of them bills later on. Like Bill just mentioned, those folks are gonna come back with a vengeance. They're gonna want their money. Ain't no free rides out here. They gonna want their rent, their gas and electric money, and all everything else is gonna come on. They're gonna let you get away for a month or two, but then you better believe they keeping tabs. And when the time comes and when the thing lighten up, you're
Time
gonna
to
be
pay up.
hungry, no lights. You might be put out in the street. So you better, take heed to this thing. This thing is real, and they ain't playing with it. They want their money because they gonna be in the crunch. And so with
David
that being said,
Murphy.
yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Sorry to disturb you. So
No, you're not. Go ahead.
let's talk about which probably would be a next week topic because I have a couple of people who I want to bring onto the show. There's a financial situation about this, and then there's a conspiracy theory about this. Everybody, I encourage you, and Mr. David Murphy, Satawi Jahi, we got to get together because there's some things that it's going to be some sensitive stuff that's going to be talked about next week, and it might shed a different perspective. But there are conspiracy theories. There's a lot of government secrets. There's a lot of things that they just don't want us to know. But unfortunately, excuse me,
Absolutely.
fortunately, we have people who like to leak information. Um, and we're going to get into that. David, Mr. Brandon Booth, remember Mr. Brandon Booth?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. We have talked today.
Well,
We had a 30-minute
let me say this
conversation.
to you. Let me say, yeah, it's a lot of theories and things like that. People got some very sensitive information. Let me say this to you though, and to all of us. I've been publishing newspaper for a long time, and people, people work for the government. A lot of people have a conscience about what's taking place in their industry. So I used to get all of these little letters with no address on them and stuff like this, sharing information what the government is doing. Now, at least I had enough common sense not to put that kind of stuff in the paper because I'd have been dead the next day. People want to know how
Yep.
I got that
That's one
information.
of the
So
things.
classified information is a serious thing.
It
But
is.
because of technology, right now everything we're saying is being documented, is being listened to
Yep.
through the newspaper, through my phone conversation because I had the potential to cause fire. I had the potential to start an uprising. That's why I say media is a powerful tool. But then again, you have to make a decision in life. You either have to stand for something or fall for anything. Sometimes you have to stand on principles. And in my next upcoming article in the National Black Unity News, I'm speaking about some of those same things. And so at this
Mhm.
time in my life, ladies and gentlemen, for those of us who have a calling on their life, a mission in their life, and that's what I'm saying, this is a mission. And you claim, sometimes we can't be so sensitive about what's going to happen to me. Of course, you put the law of the land is self-survival, but sometimes, if you have information that can enhance people's quality of life or even save people's lives, sometimes you have to take a chance and stand up, stand in the gap for us. Because, like I say, life and death is in their tongue, and people will kill you for information that they don't want other people to know. Like that's why I said. That's why I say the old saying: you don't never help a lame to the game because they can take
Mhm.
that same game and use it against you. Well,
Yep.
and so, but again, you stand for something, stand up, and that's one thing about the National Black Unity News, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of hosts. We have several of them on the phone call right now who share information that's life altering. And Bill, I hear you want to say something, sir.
Now, I just want to say this last thing, and I'm done. Again, we just want to thank everybody on the line. Everybody continue to pray. But all I'm saying is this, man. It's a lot of information out there. You have to choose in terms of what you're gonna believe and what you don't believe. There's a whole lot of conspiracy theories out there. There's a lot of things that can be true in reference to the governments and the powers of the world. But like I say, you know, this here virus, then even if they try and take us out, they're taking a lot of them out. So, my main thing at this point is we be as smart as we can so that we could survive this, so that we could be around after this is over.
All right. Okay, so
Yeah. Well, I
we have
want
to
to,
go
Dave.
ahead. Go ahead.
Dave. I want to close. I want to make one more
Yes,
point
you can. Go ahead. We
too.
control this time.
Don't. I'm challenging people not to get caught up with the distractions. See, this virus thing, people want you to be thinking about the conspiracy. People want you to be thinking about who else is making money off of this thing. People want you to be caught up with the restriction that it's placing on our lives and, how inconvenient it is and all of that. But that's the smoke in the mirrors, y'all. The real deal about this virus is this. Make no mistake. This can kill you.
Absolutely.
Period. This can kill you. Not to play with. Doesn't matter who's making money. Because if you die, it will not be you. It doesn't matter whose conspiracy this is. Because if you die, it does not matter.
Indeed.
Wash your
Mm,
hands. Wash your hands. Use the wipes when you go to the grocery store. Wipe down those carts. Don't wait until you get to the grocery store to look for the wipes. Take them into the store with you. Don't depend on somebody else for your safety. That's your job. So
And Fred, on
don't play
top,
with this. Yeah, don't play with this thing, and
Don't
don't
play with
sleep.
it.
Don't sleep on it because it'll sneak up on you, and then you'll be the one laying in that hospital bed.
you
I'm
know,
just
so
saying.
there's a lot of us on this line that are senior citizens, like myself, for instance. Now, I could
Mhm.
get to the store, but sometimes you have to be a wise, like you said, you have to take precaution. There's a lot of ways
Mhm.
that you can have stuff delivered to you or have people go out there and bring it to you, and things like that.
Mhm.
There's a lot of ways because, like I say, right now, a lot of people in the crunch, like I say, a lot of people, man, just been laid off, and now tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, people are expecting their money from rent and everything else, regardless of this, right? They want their money. And even though they can't forcibly put you out in the street right now, but as soon as this thing over, they're gonna put your butt out if you don't come up with that cash flow. And so
Yep.
and so a lot of people is in tight situations right now, tight. I mean financially, because most people live from paycheck to paycheck. And so I mean for those, if anybody has information, because they got all types of food services going around and people sharing information. If you had to type it, post that stuff out there for some of our seniors and those who are having a rough time so that they can get this food. Bill said something earlier today. Bill said, I can eat. He said, I'm doing all right. I can take care of myself right now. He said, even though I know I can go out there and skid in line and get all this free stuff from people, but he said one thing that made a lot of sense. If you got it, don't hoard it. Don't try to take something from somebody else that somebody else can use that really
That's
needs it.
right.
Because, a lot of us are sitting in line, got a pocket full of money and go on this line and go on that line and go on that line. And there's people,
Mhm.
by the time somebody who really needs it is gone because you went up there, not only you, but 10 to 20, 100 of y'all went out and did the same thing.
Mhm.
And so, so like I say, man, be conscious and considerate of a lot of folks. Because, like I said, even before this thing happened, you'd be surprised how many people struggle from eating, paying their bills, and buying their medicine. That's
Yep.
before this thing even hit. And so if you know people, man, call them up, man. If you got information, share it with people. Like Fran say, pick up that phone call. Call somebody and see how they doing. And let's keep it real. Like me and Brother Hector always say, let's keep it real and tell people, man, look here, we know it's a rough time. If you need help, say so. Because we know sometimes pride goes before the fall. And so if you're going through a difficult time, and if you know somebody who may be going through a difficult time, there's a lot of resources out there we must share. Okay, and with
Yep.
that being said, anybody else, we control our own time on this podcast, but we like to keep it to an hour. In closing, anybody would like to share any
Hey,
information
David.
imparted?
David.
Yes.
Hi, this is Lila. How you doing?
Hey, Lala, how you feeling?
Hey, Lila.
Wonderful. Hey, how y'all doing? I just
Good.
wanted to share that for all those who don't know, I do life insurance. Um, and at this time, if
Boom.
you know
Business is
somebody
booming.
who may be uninsured or just not sure about what they have, I do free audits. We are doing it via Zoom. But not only am I do life insurance, but I'm looking for life insurance agents. At this time right now, a lot of people are sitting home looking for another source of income. That's a source of income. Call me, inbox me, let me know if you're interested in making an income. You can sit home, you can go online and get your take your licensing class, take and be ready to take the test when we come out of this thing. But even in your training, you can get paid bonus while you're going through your training. So if you know anybody who needs some income, let me know. If you know anybody who really just needs to take a look at your policy. A lot of times we think we have what we don't even have. And people say, oh, I got insurance. Well, what do you really have? Do you really understand? You don't want to wait until you're gone and your family find out that you didn't have what you thought you had. So let's take a look at the things. Let's make this extra income. Let's get through these times. That's all we say.
Can you give out your information how they
Oh,
can get in
Lucy.
touch with you?
Yes. My phone number is 667-231-0819. Again, it's 667-231-0819. I am also on Facebook. My name is Lila. My last name is Arthur, Arthur. Facebook, Lila Arthur. That's my name on Facebook. That's my name. And my phone number is 667-231-0819. My email is my first and last name, lilaarthur.la@gmail.com.
What's
All right,
your
thank you.
Facebook again?
Wait.
Lila
Slow.
Arthur, Lila, and it's my last name, Arthur.
Lila.
Right. And last name, just like the guy's name, Arthur, Arthur.
And with that being said, Lila, this one thing in closing, I just want to share with you because I'm glad she brought, came on board with us. Is this? Jews been doing it for centuries. Even in the Bible, there's a quote saying, "A good man leaves an inheritance not only to his children but to his children's children." And and unfortunately, most black folks, when someone dies, most of us had to scrape. The family members had to come together, scrape our pennies together just to bury them, let alone trying to get something from them. And and dealing with the financial world, it is a extremely smart thing to do to take out extra insurance on you. Now, I know you can't spend it on yourself, but you can't take your money with you either. But what good, like I say, somebody had made, I'm going to die sooner or later. But wouldn't it be so nice? I got all these grandchildren. If I took out enough insurance, I may not be a rich man or a wealthy man, I could just be good and by. But if I could take a little extra $3 a month and increase my insurance, and then my life insurance, and when I'm dead and God, I can leave my family $100,000, $150,000. So not only they can take care of my bills, but they have something to send their children to school or do some other things with. I mean, that's a powerful thing. Jews been doing this for years. We're going to die, so why not take advantage of this?
Mm-hmm. That's the purpose of it. It's supposed to be for income protection, and people think it's just for burial, but it's not about burial. It's about the people, your family, your loved ones, making sure those children still eat, making sure they still go to college. All the things that you would want to pay for when you were alive, you still should be able to pay for them when you die. That is still your responsibility.
That's right. And that's a powerful statement. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being on this podcast. It's informative. A lot of people shared positive information. And again, that's what we're all about, bringing solutions, solution-oriented. And we thank everybody. And in parting, my name is David Murphy, the National Black Unity News. And you can get us on TNBUN.com. That's the National Black Unity News.com. Also, we have a nationwide black business directory, and that's TNBUNdirectory.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Black Unity News will be out next week. And if those of you who don't understand have a business, you may not get an article in, but if you have some type of advertisement, you can I can call me at 443-455-2373. I can still get your ad in there and take advantage of it because people are home. One of these are talking about an essential business. News is an essential business that will never go under because it's needed. That's how information go forward. And unfortunately, a lot of them other news media, they do not view us in the same way we would view you. Because like I say, they going to put us there. They never kind of lifted us up. If we're going to be lifted up, it's going to be by us and for us. And again, support the National Black Unity News because it's here to support you. And this is why this broadcast is going forth. Thank Brother Satawi, who has been doing this thing, holding down the fort for years. We were just doing the audio thing. And thank you, Brother Todd. Thank you, Brother Onri Hector, Bill Gooden, Fran Allen, Robbie Cotton, and Lala Arthur, and everybody else who shared with us this evening. And I'm going to say good night, Brother Hector. You can stop the recording if you like, sir, because I don't have controls on that.
Yeah, good night, everybody, and pray and be safe.
All right, y'all take care.
All right.
All right.
Everybody have a good night.
Yes, good night.
Everybody, be safe. Oh, they're going to go call.
Goodbye.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So we just had our National Black Unity News information update. Once again, we have a lot of cases out there with the COVID-19. But even with these cases, there's a way for us to come together and allow the healing process with one another. This is an opportunity. We might be afraid of the COVID-19 and its outcome, but there's one thing that is just more unprecedented than that, and that is the virus F. The F virus. And I guess you're asking, what is the F virus? It's the fear virus. What do you mean fear? Fear of uncertainty. Fear of not knowing what's going to happen next. And because of it, it allows us to react in an unrational way. It allows us to do things that we wouldn't even do. I encourage you to pray. Stop right now. Stop what you're doing. If you have any blessed oil, just bless your house. Touch your children with it. If you don't have any blessed oil, God will still honor your prayer. This is a time where we need to pray. Grab each other by the hand and pray. Father, we ask you to touch this nation and touch this land. Heal us. This is an opportunity for us to wake up and see where we are. Self-evaluation. And with having this self-evaluation, we're allowing to see ourselves, the man in the mirror. What do I need to fix? Time is too short. Tomorrow's not promised to us. So we need to take this opportunity. If we're called Christians, if we're called people of integrity, if you're a real man, if you're a real woman that you say you are, we are, I am, then it's time to show love. Anybody can put on a service in church or whatever you may be in a mosque, whatever. The message can be preached on a Sunday morning or wherever you may have your services at. But the real message is when you leave those doors. That's where the real ministry begins. That's when the real service begins. That's where the confession of your faith is being tested and tried. When people look at you, what do they see? If we call ourselves Christians, if we call us men of integrity, women of integrity, when people are looking at you, what do they see? Do they see what you talk? And that's what it is at the end of the day. Do they see what you're talking? Because that's what it's all about. I was looking at a scripture in 1 Chronicles. I'm getting all messed up today. 2 Chronicles, the 7th chapter, and the 14th verse. And I'm going to read it. And it goes, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal the land." Why is the land like it is? Because of sin. Because of the things that we all have done. We all have come short of the glory of God. We all have to take an account, each and every one of us, even myself, and really do some soul searching. I encourage you to pick up that phone and let somebody know how much you care. I encourage you to pick up that phone or whatever form of communication you're capable of doing. And I encourage you to reach out to somebody who might have offended you or you might have offended them. I encourage each and every one of us to get our issues straight. Do not let the sun go down on your wrongdoings, your wrong sayings, your wrong thoughts. Who's to say you're going to live tomorrow? Who says something is going to happen? You know, we live like nothing is going to happen to us, and we live like we have a lease on life. Who told you was going to live 10, 20, 30, 50 years? Nobody. As you can see, look around you at the world. We're dealing with a pandemic. Thousands have died. Let's ease our conscience. Let's make it right. This is Onri Hector. Right here, radio personality and motivational speaker. I continue to encourage you so you can encourage me and right back at you. Go to my website, www.onrihector@.com. OnriHector.com. My apologies. Getting tongue-tied today. It's a lot. Okay. Check my website. YouTube. Facebook. All of that. Check it out. Because at the end of the day, it's all about enhancing the quality of our life. Like I said before, and everybody should take notice of this, as iron sharpens iron, so does a friend sharpen a friend. Let's be the sharpening tools for one another. This is really an opportunity to show that love, that support. Enough from me. I talk too much. God bless you all. If you're interested in giving me a call, once again, my phone number is on the website. You can call me at 410-200-9347. Okay. Check out my blog. Yep, I got a blog. I have two things on there. Mr. Lawrence Hutton. God bless you, Mr. Lawrence Hutton. Hope you're doing okay. He has a book out there right now called From Cotton to Crack, and it's talking about the African American, how we came from slavery, picking cotton, to, dealing with the crack. Also, guys, check out my podcast. It's on Anchor. Google Podcast. I'm on Apple, I believe. I'm on a couple of things, couple of platforms. You guys need to check that out as well. It's called Relationship Goals Part 1. I'm working on Part 2. Okay, so guys, check that out. That'll be available. I was supposed to do it this week, and I said last week that I would have it available this week. I've been busy. I do have another job. I work for the MTA. I work for the Metro Maintenance Facilities. So, I am going to get around to it. We're going to have some more content available for you. Other than that, guys, I want you to have a blessed one. And remember, the cause is greater than you. Thank you. God bless.